The explosion had been meant for the transport bay. Commander Lra Hayes had seen the shimmer of the plasma charge a fraction of a second before detonation. Just enough time to recognize the trajectory, calculate the blast radius, and realize that the Cassery cubs huddled near the viewport would be vaporized. Her body moved before her mind finished processing. She threw herself between the younglings and the incoming fire, her armored back taking the full force of the shrapnel burst. The last thing she remembered was the warm wetness of blood spreading across her tactical suit and the wide, terrified eyes of the smallest cub staring up at her as darkness swallowed everything whole. Now consciousness returned in fragments. First came the pain, a white-hot lattice of agony crisscrossing her back and shoulders. Then came the awareness of breathing, each inhalation feeling like broken glass grinding against her ribs. Finally, the realization that she was no longer on the transport ship. The air tasted different here, heavier, laden with minerals and something that smelled like burnt copper and ozone. Lra's eyes cracked open. She lay on a raised platform in what appeared to be a circular chamber carved from obsidian stone. Bioluminescent veins pulsed through the walls, casting the room in shades of deep blue and violet. But it wasn't the alien architecture that made her breath catch. It was the ring of massive figures surrounding her. The Predator Council. 12 beings, each representing a different apex species from across the outer reaches, stood in a perfect circle around her platform. Their combined presence was suffocating. The Cassery, the Vorn, the Scalith. Predators, all species that had dominated their worlds for millennia before achieving spaceflight. Species that viewed most others as either rivals or prey. At the head of the circle stood Vorok, the Cassery Elder. He was a towering figure nearly 3 meters tall, his crystalline fur catching the light like fractured diamonds. His 4 amber eyes, a mark of his age and status, were fixed upon Lra with an intensity that would have made most sapients look away. She held his gaze. The human awakens. Vorok's voice rumbled through the chamber, translated by the neural implant behind Lra's ear. We wondered if you would survive the reconstruction. Reconstruction. Lra's voice came out as a rasp. She tried to move and felt the pull of freshly sealed tissue. Someone had performed surgery. Extensive surgery. 17 pieces of shrapnel, said the Thiax counselor, Tvorax, her reptilian face impassive. 3 punctured organs. Spinal damage that would have left most species paralyzed. Our medical cast has worked for 3 cycles to repair what we could. Lra processed this slowly. The Predator Council had saved her life. The same council that had been neutral at best, hostile at worst, toward humanity's expansion into their territories. The same council that had watched human colonies struggle and fail without offering aid, citing the natural order of species finding their place in the galaxy. Why? The question escaped before she could stop it. Vorok moved closer, his taloned feet clicking against the stone floor. Because you did something I don't understand. You are human, Vorok continued, his voice taking on a strange quality, something that might have been respect. Humans are soft. You have no natural armor, no fangs, no venom. You come from a world where you are not the apex predator. Your species spent most of its evolution as prey. He paused, letting the words settle. Yet when fire came for the cubs, my grandcubs, you did not flee. You did not freeze. You covered them with your own body, knowing it meant your death. Lra remembered the moment. It hadn't been a choice. Not really. Just instinct. The cubs, she managed. Are they unharmed? Vorok inclined his head. They are. Because of you. The youngest, Kira, has not stopped asking when you would wake. Something that might have been amusement flickered across his features. She insists on calling you Iron Mother. Despite the pain, Lra felt a smile tug at her lips. We have debated your kind for generations, spoke a Vorn counselor, its 6 eyes blinking in sequence. Humans seemed weak, unsuited for the harsh realities of deep space. We questioned whether your species deserved a place among the starfaring races. And now? Lra asked. Vorok's fur rippled in a gesture of acknowledgement. Now we understand what we mistook for weakness. Humans are not apex predators. You did not need to be. Instead, you became something far more dangerous. He leaned closer, and Lra could see ancient wisdom in those amber eyes. You became the protectors. The ones who stand between the helpless and annihilation. Not because you are the strongest, but because you choose to. The other counselors murmured their agreement, a chorus of clicks, growls, and harmonic tones. We have hunted across 100 worlds, Vorok continued. We have conquered, dominated, and survived. But you humans, you fragile, determined creatures. You have mastered something we never could. You turned your weakness into your greatest strength. You learned to protect not just your own, but anyone who cannot protect themselves. Vorok straightened, addressing the full council. The human species is hereby granted full recognition under the Predator Council's protection. Any species that threatens humanity will answer to us all. The declaration sent shockwaves through Lra's consciousness. Full protection from the Predator Council was unprecedented. It meant humanity would have allies among the most powerful species in known space. I didn't do it for politics, Lra said softly. I did it because those cubs deserved to live. Yes, Vorok replied, and there was something like warmth in his voice. That is precisely why we honor you. You did not calculate. You did not hesitate. You simply acted because it was right. He placed one massive paw over his chest in what Lra recognized as a Khazri gesture of the highest respect. Around the circle, every counselor mimicked the gesture. You took shrapnel meant for our young, Vorok said. And in doing so, you showed us what it truly means to be strong. Not fangs. Not claws. But the courage to stand between darkness and those too small to stand alone. Lra closed her eyes, letting the words wash over her. The pain was still there, sharp and insistent. But somehow, it felt more bearable now. When she opened her eyes again, Vorok was still watching her, those 4 amber eyes gleaming with newfound respect. Welcome, Commander Hayes, he said. To the Council's protection. Humanity has earned its place among the stars, not as predators, but as something far greater. As guardians.